about yourself. What was the path that led you to where you are right now?
So, well, thank you for having me today on your show. It's a pleasure to be here, pleasure to enjoy this conversation with you. So I'm a Flatbush resident. I was born in Brooklyn born and raised, a proud product of public schools. And I was working in city government for the last 5.5 years. Before that, I was an organizer, working right here in Brooklyn, working with the immigrant population and young girls on social justice issues. And that work that I did as an organizer, as a 1199 member, going to marches with my mom when she would advocate for 1199 for benefits and for different things that she believed that was important to her and her family and to her members, put me in this position where I am right now. I was a former reporter, so
You started out in journalism.
I started out in journalism. I got my bachelor's degree in journalism. I got a bachelor's and an English degree in journalism at LIU Brooklyn campus. It's something I'm very passionate about. I love to tell people stories, and that's part of the reason why I became a journalist. I always found that when people's stories were told, it was very objective, very surface, and to the point. However, I believe that there's always this underlying story, this other side that needs to always be told. I used to work for the former council member, Jemani Williams, as his deputy chief of staff for his office for 5.5 years. And I worked on tons of things like policy, budget, working with the local residents on just day-to-day issues. And all that work that I did from the past leading up to now propelled me for this moment. It's a special time, a special season for me to be able to put my best foot forward and say, you know what, I want to represent this district. I want to be a leader. I want to help people. I want to ensure people are not suffering in silence anymore. And I believe I'm the best person and the most qualified to do that.
So your moniker, unofficial or otherwise, is the real Flatbush Girl, is that right?
Yes, I am the real Flatbush Girl. That was a term that was coined by Kings County politics because I live on Flatbush, my church is on Flatbush, I shop on Flatbush. Everything I do is really in my district. The local stores that I go to, I want to make sure that I'm giving back to these small businesses. That keeps our economy going, that keeps our district going, and it ensures that we're, supporting one another.
You often credit your mother as an influence in your political strategy.
Yes.
So
my mom is like a public servant. I consider her a public servant. She's a nurse at Brookdale Hospital. She works in the ER, and most of the work that she does is work with gun violence victims of, really acute related injuries. And I watched her do this for over 38 years, and it's just been a blessing to see that this is the kind of work she does, but outside of work, she's giving food to people in the neighborhood. She's cooking for people. She goes to her local church and gives back. And she's a 1199 member. Anytime they have a rally, a march, a meeting, she's there, and she's making sure that that's also a way of giving her civic engagement.
So one of the core promises of your campaign concerns affordable housing and the gentrification crisis that's currently taking place in the community. What is your strategy to alleviate these problems, and how do you think that will affect the residents?
So gentrification is inevitable. Gentrification is happening all around our country. It's not something that you could really just stop. You have to work around it. You have to work around the situation. For me, I was displaced. I was homeless. I know how it feels to be home insecure and not have a place to go. And I believe that it's very important for folks to have a place to live. In our district, I don't know if you really know it well, but if you go into particular areas, you'll see like a home, a building, a home, a building. And that's what our district is starting to look like, Legoland, I call it. And we have to find a way to kind of mitigate that, decrease it. So I've been working with the Community Board 17's Land Use Committee, find a way to rezone, and also working with local development that's going up and saying, you know what, why don't you put a certain amount of those units for people that live in our district that are getting priced out? Why don't you offer us more opportunities for apartments for people that really need it? And the goal is to create a program around that so that we have enough units available so that people that are getting priced out, people that want to live in the district, can have a place to go.
The residents, what part do you think they can play in all of this?
Well, one thing is not to suffer in silence. If you know that you're going through a foreclosure or you're about to get evicted, you visit your local council member or assembly or state member's office to let them know that you're in arrears or there's a particular thing happening there that you need to get addressed. That's the first component. Second, you would just want to ensure that residents are also thinking about people that live in their areas, particularly seniors. Seniors are the first ones to get priced out. They're the first ones to actually be home insecure, be food insecure. So we want to ensure that is our first direct contact and making sure that we get them all the resources that they need. There's no way to really stop a particular thing, but there's a way to decrease it. And that's, prevention is better than cure. And the first thing to do is just find a way to decrease it. So by implementing more housing, that is a way to ensure that people stay in our neighborhoods.
You and fellow
Assembly member
Farah Louis are both of Haitian American heritage, and your parents were immigrants to this country. But she has been accused in a controversy that took place last year and is in some places still ongoing, that you are taking prejudice against other Caribbean Americans of different nationalities due to the fact that the proposed Little Caribbean district was instead named Little Haiti district. What do you have to say to this?
Well, first, Rodney's Bouchard. She is a dear friend of mine. I consider her a mentor and someone that I hold near and dear to me. However, with this particular situation that you're bringing up and you're discussing, it's not something I like to talk about, but I'm happy you brought it up because we will address it now. Little Haiti designation was something that Councilmember Williams created, not Rodney's. Councilmember Williams created legislation that passed, and he designated a Little Haiti corridor. We also were supposed to have a Little Caribbean corridor. That didn't quite work out because the organization that he partnered with to do that, something happened there. So we said, you know what, we'll just do that a later date. So Little Haiti got implemented first. Yes, there's controversy behind it. Why? I am not sure. However, what I do hope is that Little Haiti could be something that everyone will embrace and see a little bit of themselves in it. We are still trying to work on Little Caribbean. If anything, the last couple of months I've been working with the president of WIATICA, the West Indian Carnival Association, and I've been working with Dr. Pierce to ensure that we can have a Little Caribbean, because I believe we should have both. There are a subset of people that actually love the designation, and there's a subset of people that would want Little Caribbean, and that's something that we want to ensure that we provide. While I am Haitian American, while my parents did migrate here from Haiti, I consider myself a Caribbean American. And my family is made up not only of Haitians, but Trinidadians, Jamaicans, Russians. I have a Jewish sister-in-law. So I can't speak to the divisiveness because that's not who I am. I'm a woman of faith, I'm a woman of God. My family is multicultural, and I believe in loving everyone and unifying everyone. Hopefully we'll have both very, very soon, and that we'll continue to grow as a community as one.
While your campaign spearheads diversity, you also claimed that the media, and this was a bit unclear, that the media was dividing the conversation. Could you please make that comment a bit more specific?
Sure. So when it comes to this campaign and the media, what I find is that they'll create a story pitting women against one another, particularly the black women in the race. That's why I never take interviews. I want to ensure that this is a fair race, a fair process, and that the conversation is just about the issues, about the content, and ensuring that we are the best candidates for this district and that we're putting our best foot forward to ensure that the best person wins the seat. That's how the story should be covered. It shouldn't be covered about this woman or that woman or how they're fighting and attacking one another. If anything, I hold hands with them. If we're at events, I greet them because it's very important for us to have partnerships after the race is over. Sometimes political campaigns could get really catty, really contentious. I think there's an opportunity here for us to be peaceful, for us to be one, for us to be unified. I'm all about that. My party line is a unified 45. And that means this is an opportunity for God to utilize us to put the district forward. It's about the people. It's not about us. We're being used as vessels to be put forward this agenda, and the agenda is the people.
One topic that your campaign doesn't appear to have touched on is artificial intelligence. This will undoubtedly create massive upheaval, possibly in the near future.
Right.
What would your campaign have to say about that?
So part of my campaign platform is education. And why that is because when I look at all the schools in my district, a number of those schools do not have robotics, they don't have STEAM and STEM programming. When I was in Councilmember Jemani Williams' office, I was the budget director. And one thing I was passionate about is ensuring that we had technology in each and every one of our schools, whether that was a smart board, an iPad, or funding an organization like Digital Girl or Girls Who Code to come into our schools to teach girls and young people and boys about coding, to teach them about artificial intelligence. That is the new wave. That's what this world's gonna look like. And we wanna ensure that it starts from that age and then moves up. There's this intergenerational divide, there's this digital divide where seniors don't know much about artificial intelligence, they don't know much about social media and things of that sort. So while I was in the office, I ensured that we gave funding to our senior centers, had organizations come in and teach them how to use an iPad, how to use a cell phone, how to text, how to send out information. If we're not teaching both sides, our young people and our seniors, we're gonna lose a lot. And we have an opportunity here to educate everyone.
How would you tackle crime rates in the community, although they have been going down?
Well, we fund an organization called Gangsters Making Astronomical Changes, and I think they've been doing a phenomenal job at ensuring that the crime rate in our district has gone down. They do something like Occupy the Corners, they're violence interrupters, and they have a very robust program for young people as well as on the streets marketing, telling folks, you know what, this is what you shouldn't do, this is what you should do in the event that something happens. We also have the 67th Precinct Clergy Council, another organization that we fund to deal with gun violence as well. And they do a phenomenal job at ensuring that people, meaning local people in the community, come to their meetings and they're aware of resources. We have the Multicultural Bridge Project. We have an organization called PAYS and PIO that's in our South Asian community, and their goal is to ensure that hate crimes are down. They create programs where local community leaders come together and they create like a task force, and they're walking folks at home at night to ensure, if you don't feel safe.
Yeah.
There's so many different ways that we could tackle crime, ensure that it continues to stay down, and part of my platform is ensuring that we have a safer community. And that is continuing to give money to the crisis management program that GMAC is a part of, as well as the 67 Precinct Clergy Council. There's tons of organizations that provide public safety related resources, and I think if we're pumping more funds into them, our crime rate will continue to go down.
What are your thoughts on the numerous other candidates participating in this race? Some of them who have managed to amount their own version of controversy.
So I can't speak to anyone's controversy or their headlines. However, what I can share with you is that I love the fact that we have so many women running in this race. I love the fact that we have a lot of Caribbean women, minority women running in this race. This is an opportunity for us to create a space for ourselves. This is the year of the woman. You hear that all the time. And it's an opportunity for us to step up and be leaders in the community. And one thing I can say that everyone in the race has great backgrounds, whether they're political operative, a nonprofit executive director, a social media maven. It's a very diverse group of opponents and candidates in the race, and I'm just happy to be serving on this board.
Yes. One of your political goals actually was to include more women and a more diverse cast of women on the city council,
Right.
the district and the city council.
So we have 11 women in the city council right now. There's 51 seats, 11 women. You see the disparity there with those numbers. We should have more women representing on the city council. And what I would love to see in the near future is more South Asian women serving on the city council. I think that's the direction that we need to go in. We have a beautiful South Asian and Jewish community in our district, and I would love to see more of that. While a large population of our district is Caribbean, I believe that there's other parts of Brooklyn where women can be representative of their districts and of their communities. So I'm in full support of that. So when I do win, I hope to support a woman that is from another race, another ethnicity that will serve in the city council with me.
So when you get into office, what will the first 100 days look like? What's your game plan once you've settled into your position?
First thing is ensuring that I'm pushing out a lot of legislation. I have a lot of ideas that I want to implement. When I was in the city council, there were certain things that I would pitch that the council member would be like, I don't know about that. But I knew that it was a good idea. So I wrote notes down. And these are things that I'm going to push policies out for. Engaging my other colleagues so that they could participate and sign on to those legislative ideas. Getting back into the community and ensuring that folks in the community know that I'm there. And listening to their issues. There's things that we all know. We all know we need housing. We all know that we need more funding in schools. But there may be something else, I don't know. Maybe there's a pothole that needs to be fixed. There are particular things that in the first 100 days that need to get done, and I'm going to get them done.
Finally, why do you think people should vote for you? What's the argument that you would make? And how would your being in a position of power affect them on the ground, in their daily lives? How would it improve it?
So I've been doing this work already. The council member, now public advocate, has been running for office for the last 2 years. He ran for speaker, he ran for lieutenant governor, and then he ran for public advocate. I was holding down the office. Whether it was working directly with the staff and ensuring the operations was on point, ensuring that our legislation was on point and that other members were signing on to his policies, doing the budget for the office and ensuring that all of our organizations were getting the funding that they needed, working with immigrants in our district to make sure that they were naturalized. There was nothing I wasn't doing in the office. I was the nucleus of the office. And this is something that I believe that folks should think about when they're thinking about who can replace the former council member. I will hit the ground running. I already know the city council. I've already been doing the work. I'm still doing the work. I got a call the other day on helping with land use issues. So I think I'm the most qualified because I know the work. I'm passionate about my community. The folks in the community know who I am, and I want to continue to do this work. I think that I'm the best leader to ensure our community is thriving and moving forward, and that the resources are really coming back into our district, and I'm the only one that knows how to do that out of the slate of opponents.
In the event that you lose this race, what are you planning to do?
It's in God's hands.
Thank you for that. Thank you, Farah, for having me on the program.
Thank you.